Good afternoon, everyone. So let us start today's session. Before we begin today's session, can you tell me what was the last discussion? What was the last discussion? Am I audible? Is my screen visible? Say yes or no. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So we were discussing inheritance in last session. Yes or no? What is inheritance? What is inheritance? What is inheritance? We discussed it last time, right? Anyone? What it allows? What is that process of inheritance? Any one of you can answer it. Anyone? Guys, I'm not able to listen you. Kindly just tell me.
Deriving properties of one class into other class.
Exactly. Right? Deriving the property of one class into other class. We can say that inheritance is superclass subclass relationship. And along with that, we were discussing a little bit about super keyword. So what we were saying is that when we have inheritance, at that time we'll have one class, and that class will have certain data property and method. And these data property and method is available into the other class, right? But along with that, we have learned one more concept, which is about method overloading. So can anyone tell me what is it? Method overloading. We learned it in a previous chapter. So what is method overloading?
Same method name and different argument.
Same method name, but we may have but different signature, right? Either the number of parameters will be different, or if the parameters are same, right, still the data type of the parameter will be different. For example, if I have integer add, and I say integer a comma integer a, right? And the same method I have with the name integer add, and I'll say float a comma float b. Fine. So here you see number of parameters are same, return type is same, but function name is, method name is same. Yes?
Screen is not visible.
I'm presenting. Is it everybody? You're not getting my screen?
No, ma'am. Visible.
It's visible.
Visible, ma'am.
It's visible. So just you can go to my name and you will see the presentation. So there you can just click on a pin to the screen. It will fix my screen on your like display unit. Are you finding now who was having the problem with screen? So right now you can see here we have method overloading where name is same, but either number of parameters are different, or even if the number of parameters are same, but data type of the parameter are different. So this is called method overloading. And why we have method overloading is, why we do so? Because by looking at the name, we should understand the behavior of the method. And that's why addition is like everywhere we are doing the mathematical addition or summation of 2 or 3 numbers, right? So just to increase the readability, of the method which are same in the nature, right? Just to increase the readability of the methods which are same in the behavior, the functionality of the methods are same. At that time we are going with the method overloading. Now let us suppose we have these method in the inheritance also. So what will be the situation? We'll have two different class. Let us say we have one parent class, right? And that may be the class A. This is class A, and we will have another class which is getting inherited from this class. So it's a child class, right? It's a child class. So we may have the other class which is class B. And when I said the symbol, it means that class A is the parent class and class B is the child class. So there are chances that there will be certain data fields which are common in both. Name is common in both, right? If these names are common in both and we want to access, because we will have some different class, we call it as a driver class. What is driver class? What is driver class? Anyone? What is driver class? The class which has main method, right? So if I have class main, inside that I may have main method, right? So I'll say public static void main. Fine, and it will take string argument. Fine. So what I'll do is I will create the object of A and object of B over here. Object of A and object of B will be created here in class driver class, right? So if I am creating this with the help of these objects, I can access the variable and methods given in this class. Now consider the situation. We want to invoke the superclass method and constructor in the child class, right? If you want to do this and if the method names are same, right? What we can do is we can use the super keyword to call the constructor or method of the superclass. Are you getting the point, right? So we are right now discussing using keyword super. The keyword super refers to the super class. It means we are talking about parent class. And it can be used to invoke superclass method and constructor, right? So to call it, what we can do is we can write the method super. We can use the keyword super, right? So first uses is calling superclass constructor. If you want to call a superclass constructor, you have to just write the super keyword and a parenthesis. Fine. What it will do, unlike the properties and methods, the constructor of superclass are not inherited by the subclass, right? There is no inheritance of the constructors, right? They can just be called from the constructor of the subclass using the super keyword, right? So make sure that this is interview level question. Don't do any mistake. When I say inheritance, all the data members and methods will be inherited. So it will be here with the help of the object, right? I can access it with the help of the object. Let us suppose I have, we have seen this example, right? We have class A and we have class B, right? And if I go with the certain classes, just a second, we have seen one class animal, right? one more thing I wanted to show you, that is here. What was the class name? Simple inheritance. Okay, simple inheritance.java. Can you see this? This is simple inheritance.java. So animal is superclass and dog is the subclass, and simple inheritance is the driver class. So what I'm saying is the methods and data field can be inherited. We can use it using the subclass object. So this is subclass or child class object, and we used the data property and the method, right? But when it comes about the constructor, we can't use it. We can't use it. So if you want to use it, you have to use the keyword super. You have to use the keyword super. Is it clear? This is first thing, right? So the statement super, when you are invoking, it will call the no argument, or you can say default constructor of its superclass. And the statement super with argument invokes the superclass constructor which matches the argument. Because if a superclass having 5 arguments, 5 data members, we may have various constructors, right? Such as constructor with 1 argument, 2 argument, 3 arguments. So when you are giving super keyword with the argument, it will call the matching constructor. Fine, fine, right? Along with that, there is a concept which is known as constructor chaining, right? Constructor chaining. So a constructor can invoke the overloaded constructor of its superclass. Right now I'm telling you like this, something like this we are discussing. Suppose I have class A, right? And it is having various data member. Right? And certain methods or constructors. So if I say this is default constructor, right? No argumented constructor. And sometime we have parameterized constructor also. This is parameterized constructor. This dot d1 equal to d1, right? And we may have another constructor also for the same class, which would be something like number of arguments are different. So this is called constructor overloading, right? This is called constructor overloading. We have constructor which are like different in the parameters. Yes or no? No argument constructor will not take any argument. Parameterized constructor will have number of arguments changing. Here we have 2 and here we have 1. Fine. So when we have such a situation and we say that we have class B, we have class B which is inherited from class A. So we'll write class B implements, extends, not implement, extends A, right? What does it mean? Now, all the data members are available in class B and we can access it inside the driver class with the help of object of subclass, right? With the help of object of child class. But the constructors will not be able to call like that because constructors are never getting inherited, right? So constructor will be invoked or it would be used with the help of keyword super, right? So a constructor invoke or overloaded constructor to its superclass constructor. If neither of this is invoked directly, the compiler automatically calls the super constructor, right, as a first statement of the constructor, right? So if your child class is not calling it, automatically it calls it, right? For example, you see here we have public class and we have some statements, right? And if we are creating object of the subclass, the super, that is the keyword to call the superclass constructor, it will be automatically created. Fine. And whenever we construct any object of a subclass constructor first invokes the superclass constructor. And this is what we have seen yesterday. This is what we have seen yesterday. We were talking about constructor chaining. And we said whenever we declare object of a child class, this is the child class, this is parent class, and this is grandparent class, right? So grandparent class is A, parent class is B, and child class is C. So if I create object of child class, first it will create the constructor of A, then it will create constructor of B, and then finally constructor of C, right? So this is somewhat equivalent to this. It will automatically call super, right? Which is your constructor, default constructor of the parent class. Fine, right? So this process will continue until the last constructor along with the inheritance hierarchy or the tree structure will be called. So this is called constructor chaining. This is called constructor chaining. Fine. Is it clear? Constructor chaining. One more thing. Whenever we have a class with more than one classes, right now you see constructor chaining. We have class A, class B, class C, and constructor chaining demo, which is 4th class. So in this single program, we have 4 classes, right? So all the dot class file will be created. Can you see this? This is class A dot class, B dot class, C dot class, and constructor chaining demo dot class, right? Similar way, in animal we have the simple inheritance. In simple inheritance, we had class dog, we had class animal, right? And we had class simple inheritance. So all the 3 dot class file is created. You see here, animal dot class, dog dot class, and simple inheritance demo dot class. Is it clear? Is it clear? Otherwise, if you see the code, what we did is we just created the object of subclass, but still all the dot class file is created and it will call first the parent class method or constructor automatically. Your compiler calls it. Fine. Is it clear? Is it clear what is constructor chaining and what is super keyword? To call the constructor automatically. Should I move forward? Should I move forward? Yes or no? Yes or no? Should I move forward? Okay. So that was the use number 1 of the super keyword, that is calling superclass constructor. There are 2 other uses. That is calling superclass method, right? So the keyword super can also be used to reference a method other than the constructor in the superclass, right? In that case, we will write method and then the super dot method and parameter list. This will be done when method in the superclass and same subclass are having same name. Similar way, to access the superclass variable, right? Superclass variable, usually what happens, suppose I have class A and class B. Suppose I have class A and class B. Fine. And if class B extends class A, and now again in class B also I have same variable, I have same data field. In that case, this data field will hide the data field of the parent class. Data field of the parent class. Are you getting? So what will happen? We know that whenever we have a superclass subclass relationship, what we can do is we can use the driver class and we can create object of a subclass, right? Object of your child class. So when you are creating object of child class, you can access the properties. Let us suppose we have class main. We have class main containing main method, right? And now if I am trying to access the object or data field, how will I execute this? I will just create a object of a subclass and I can write B dot D1. Now what is the situation? D1 is the data field which is available in both parent class, right, class A, as well as inherited class or the child class. So what will be the situation? As we are accessing it with the help of the child class object, the parent class object will data field will be hidden, right? It will be overlapped. But suppose you want the access to the super class object or parent class data field. In that case, you should use the keyword super, right? So over here, it will give you the data field from subclass, right? Data field from child class or subclass. And here, same variable, but this will be the data field from parent class. Is it clear? Is it clear? Super keyword is used to have access of data field of super class. Fine? Right? So we have to write super dot variable name. Same way for the method, if two methods are same, we'll write super dot method. Right? So here is the example. You see class A, integer I. Class B extends A, we have integer I. So over here, this integer I, which is there in class B, will hide the integer I of super class, right? So now if I want to display from the super class, I have to write super dot I. When I'm writing simply I, this show method is inside class B, right? If I have taken it inside driver class, then I need to create object and then I have to use object dot I, right? So I can write super dot I to access the super class data field. Clear? Clear? Should I move forward? Guys, I'm using single screen, so kindly tell me, should I go ahead? Fine. So here is the example of method. You see class A, ing, constructor A of class A, integer A comma B. We are giving the value to the data field I equal to A and we are saying J is equal to B. And we have a method which is show, right? System.out.println and it prints ing. Now suppose class B is having integer K. As class B is extending class A, inheritance is applied and that's why I and J are also accessible by the object of class B, right? So now we have integer K and we have written over here constructor, parameterized constructor for class B. So we have written class B with a constructor with 3 arguments, A, B and C. So I'm saying super A comma B. When I'm saying super A comma B, it will call this constructor. It will call this constructor and will assign the value. And then I'm writing K is equal to C. So the third parameter from the parameterized constructor will be given to the data field of class B, right? Over here we have void show. So I'm writing super.show. So this will call these the method from the super class. And again, I'm adding one more line over here. I'm writing system.out.println K. Right now, what is the situation? All these methods are available here. Along with that, class B is having extra data field and something newly added to the show method. Fine. Now, suppose this is my main class override. This is driver class, so it is having main method. I'm creating object of class B. So we say B is equal to subclass object equal to new 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. What it will do, it will invoke the constructor of class B and it will assign these value to the data field. But we know that B class is having direct or its own member K. So the third argument will be copied into the K, right? And again, we are calling super AB. So this 1 and 2 will be given to super AB, which is in turn calling the parameterized constructor of class A, right? And this way the assignment of I, J and K will be done with the value 1, 2 and 3. Fine. Now when I'm calling sub dot show, what it will do, it will go to the subclass of method show, and it will just invoke the superclass method also, right? So can anyone guess what will be the output? What will be the output? What will be the output? Guys, kindly acknowledge by unmuting yourself because I'm using single screen. What will be the output? No idea what will be the output?
I and J 1 2 and K3.
Exactly. So it will first call the show method of subclass. So it will say, but it is in turn calling the INJ. So we'll say INJ colon 1 space 2. Then in a new line, we'll have K colon because it is println. So in new line, it will give K colon space 3. Fine. So it will display all these 3 data variables. Now, I was talking about method overloading and method overriding. Don't confuse yourself. Don't confuse yourself with these two things. When I'm saying method overloading, it means that same name but different parameters. We are talking about these methods are belonging to the same class, right? So if I say class num, and in that class num only we have 3 methods. So we call it as a method overloading, right? So in method overloading, the methods are belonging to the same class. But when I say method overriding, when I'm saying method overriding, right, I am talking about the methods which are belonging in the superclass and subclass relationship. Fine? Fine? You're getting the point? What I'm saying is same method name but with different parameters. So this I am talking about same class, right? In a single class we'll have multiple methods. So this is called method overloading. But when I say method overriding, I am saying that superclass and subclass will have the methods with the same signature, right? Method overriding means superclass and subclass. So now methods are belonging to 2 different class, and in method overloading they are belonging to the same class. Fine. So what it says, to override a method, the method must be defined in the subclass. So the same method which is there in the superclass, it need to be defined in the subclass using same signature and the same return type, right? There should be no difference in the return type as well as the signature, that is number and type of arguments. Fine. So a subclass inherits method from the superclass, and sometimes it is necessary for a subclass to implement a method which is defined in the superclass, right? So in this case, when we are modifying it, we are going to override. We are going to change the meaning. We are going to make a change. So we call it as method overriding. Fine. Fine. So in instance method, now instance method means method which is belonging to a class. Instance method can be overridden only if it is accessible, right? And this way we can say that private methods cannot be overridden because they are not accessible outside the class. Now, one more thing which I wanted to point over here is about the keyword private. Now see, whenever we have certain classes, let us say I have suppose I have one class, let us say class student. Fine. If I have class student and have certain data variables, right? By default, the type or the accessibility of these data fields are private. They are private. Fine. And when I say something is private, either method or data field, they are not accessible outside the class. Outside the class. So this is called data hiding, right? This is called data hiding. But private members of the class are accessible through the public method of its class to outside, using the object of the class to the outside, right? For example, if I have a display function, we know that display function will be something like system dot out dot println, and we'll say roll number equal to, and we'll display the roll number, right? And plus name also, right? Right. So right now, what is the situation? Situation is roll number variable and name. These are the data fields which are private to the class student. The rule says private members are not accessible outside the class. So if we have some driver class, let us say class taste, right? If this is the driver class, we'll have public static void main method, right? With the string argument, right? And here we can create the object. Here we can create the object of class student. So we'll say student s is equal to new student, right? As per the rule, we can access the variable with the help of object. So this should happen. This should happen, right? But this is happen only with the public visibility members. So right now roll number is having nothing provided. So by default it is private, roll number and name. But you see here, display is public, right? What does it mean? It means that if you want to access the private member of a class outside the class, if you want to access it, right, you can access it with the help of object of the class and some public construct. So public construct is display. So right now display is making use of roll number and name, which are private, right? So right now s.display, this method we are calling inside class taste, which is a driver class containing the main method, right? But display is accessible here because it is public, right? So the rule says private member of a class is accessible outside the class using the object of a class and with the help of some public method. Fine. Now, what we are saying over here is, we are saying that instance method, I'm talking about third paragraph, instance method can be overridden only if it is accessible. So if some method is like private, we cannot override it because it is not available outside its own class. Even if I have class student, and suppose I have one more class over here, which is let us say class student activity, right, which is being inherited. So I have to write extends student class. What does it mean? It means that all the members are available here. But suppose I have something which is private. The private members are not accessible, or they cannot be overridden because it is not accessible outside the its own class. Is it clear? Clear? Right? So what we can say is private members are accessible. We can access it in the child class, but we cannot override. We cannot change its value. We cannot override it. Similar way, instance method, if it is static, it can be inherited. But it cannot be overridden. So overriding means changing and modifying the methods of a parent class into the child class. It is possible when the instance method is accessible. If the instance method is private or it is having the static visibility, we cannot override it. Fine? Right? So this is about your method overriding. Any question? Anyone? Anyone having any question? Okay. Now let us understand the difference. Overloading and overriding. Overloading means multiple method having same name but with different signature, right? Different signature. And overriding means new implementation for a method in a subclass, right? New implementation of a method in a subclass. To override the method, a method must be defined in a subclass using same signature and same return type, right? And overridden methods in a different class related by inheritance, and overloaded method can be either in the same class or different class related by inheritance, right? But when I say overriding, must be inherited. We're talking about inheritance. But when I say overloading, it could be within the same class or it could be in the inherited from the superclass subclass relationship also. Fine. Overridden methods have same signature and same return type, and overloaded method may have same name but different parameter. This is the difference. In overriding, we'll have exactly same signature and return type. But in overloaded method, we'll have only name which is same, but parameters will be different. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So one more thing which I want to focus over here is whenever in a final examination or in mid-semester paper, when somebody asks you the difference, never go with this type paragraph. Never write it because it gives trouble. If you want to score more, be examiner friendly. And when I say examiner friendly, you should make or you should write the answers in a way that it gives less trouble to evaluate the answer, right? Right? So it is better always to go like this. This is like exactly point to point. I can get it. Like if this is 6 mark question and you have written 6 different points, I'll give you full marks, right? But if it is the paragraph, I need to count how many you have written. What is the exact difference, right? Right? You see, first two lines are almost one difference only, right? So don't go like this. It will give trouble. Better to go with this. So here is a clear-cut difference. Method overloading and method overriding. Method overloading occurs within the same class. Overloading occurs between two classes, that is superclass and subclass. In method overloading, inheritance is not involved. In method overriding, inheritance is involved. Overloading, one method does not hide another one. All are equally available. But when I say overriding, it means child method will hide the parent's method, right? Parameters must be different in method overloading, but in method overriding, parameters must be same, right? Return type may or may not be same. At times it is same in method overloading. Right? At times it is same, at times it is different. Both cases are fine. We can go with the method overloading. But in method overriding, return type must be same. Right? Access modifier and non-access modifier can also be changed. Right? For example, public, static. Right? These are the access modifier. Right? But in overriding, access modifier should be same or increase in the scope. Increase in the scope, right? Then and then we can override it. And non-access modifier, such as when I say access modifier, I'm talking about public, private, protected. These are called the access specifier or access modifier. Some literature say access specifier, some literature say access modifier. In overloading, it should be exactly same. It can be changed. You can change in method overloading. So it means like if you are having public integer add, you can make it private integer add, right? But when I say method overriding, it should increase the scope of access modifier. Soon we will learn in a next lecture about scope of modifier. So public, private, and protected all are having different scope. If the scope is in an increasing order, then it is allowed to be changed in method overriding, otherwise not. Fine. And non-access modifier, which is final and static. In method overriding, final, if a method contains final keywords in a parent class, then we cannot override it. Whereas in method overriding, we can do it. Static, if a method contains static word, child cannot override the parent's method, but it can hide. It can hide, right? This is not possible with the overloading. We can just change it if we want. Fine. So this is the exact difference between method overloading and overriding. This is very much important question. So be clear about all the points. If you have any question or any doubt, you can raise your query. Any question, any doubt? Should I move forward? Should I move forward? Yes or no? Guys, I'm waiting for your acknowledgement.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So here is the example. I want you to focus first at your left hand side, this one, this portion. What we have is public class state, test, public static void main, a small a equal to new a. We are creating an object. Let us see what is class A. Right now, we have class B, which is parent class. In parent class, we did something like, we have a method P, which takes one double argument, and what it does is it doubles the result. For example, if it is 10, it will do 10 into 2, which is 20. If it is 40, it will do 40 into 2. Now we say class A extends class B. Class A extends B. What does it mean? It means that class A is the child class. As the class A is the child class, this method is available over here also, right? It is available over here. Now over here, what is happening? Over here, what is happening? Over here, we said same method. You see, public void P double I, here also public void P double I. So this method is not doubling the value. It's just simply printing it. It just simply prints it. For example, when I say system.out.println I, it will just print 10. It will just print 10. Fine? Fine? So what will happen in this case? What will happen in this case? Over here, this signature is exactly same. So this meaning will be suppressed or hidden. It will be hidden. So when I am using this object creation and I said class A, which is child class, I say A.P. So what it will do? Both the parent and child both have same signature. So parent method will be suppressed. It will be overlapped, or we can say override. And we will have in the outcome 10, right? In both the cases, if we provide integer argument or we provide float argument. Integer argument we have given, but here method is having double. So it will upgrade. It will upgrade the data type. Fine. It will increase. Do the increasing conversion, type casting. Automatically 10, which is integer, will be upgraded and it will be treated as a double, which is 10.0. Fine. So in both the cases, we'll have the output 10.0, right? So this method will not be come in the picture. Okay. This is called method overriding. Now see here. What we have is we have class test main method, child class A, and we are calling the same method P with 10 and 10.0. But over here, parent class takes the double I argument and child class takes integer I argument, right? So this is not overriding, but this is overloading. Why? What is overriding? Exact same signature, right? You see double I, public, void, PP, exact same. So it is overriding. But here Public, public, void, void. Method name is P, P, but argument is double and integer. So signature are not exactly same. And as signature are not exactly same, this is not method overriding, but it is method overloading. Is it clear? Is it clear? Right? And that's why when we'll call a dot p0, even if a is the object of child class, when you are doing a dot p10, 10 is the integer argument, so it will call the child method. So we'll have the first output 10. Then second time, even if using the child object, you are calling the method of parent class, because here the argument is 10.0, which is double type of value, and double type of value is available only in the parent class. So it will display the, or it will invoke the method of parent class. So here the outcome will be 10 for first method, and the second it will be 20.0, 20.0. Whereas here it will be 10.0, 10.0 in both the case. This is method overriding. It is not taking the meaning from the child parent class, but over here, as the parameters are different, it is overriding. Is it clear? Any question, any doubt up till now? If you have doubts, you can ask the query. Anyone? Should I move forward? Yes or no? Yes or no? Should I move forward?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we are going to the new concept, which is called polymorphism. Polymorphism. Before going into that discussion, let me tell you, half of your problem will be solved if you are knowing English properly, right? And that's why when I was student, what I was doing is, whenever I was studying and I feel some word which is unknown, I don't know the meaning. First, I was searching the dictionary meaning of polymorphism, right? And now you don't need even dictionary, right? You need it. You never using it. When we were student, we were not having much smartphones, so we were using it. Now it's very easy. What you can do is just Google it. Right now we are going to learn the polymorphism. If you are getting any technical word or any word, you don't know what does it mean. Overriding, we can, overloading, everything is having a dictionary meaning, right? So what we can do is we can just search meaning of, just search in a Google meaning of, and give that word, right? Right? You see in Java also it will give, right? Or you can say dictionary, right? So if you are going with the dictionary meaning, see, polymorphism is everywhere in Hindi, Python, OOP, computer, genetics, Malayalam, Java, biology, everywhere the word polymorphism is coming, right? So you can say, simply just go without any language, right? So basically polymorphism is a Greek word, right? Which is coming from, poly means many, morph means taking a form, taking a different form, right? Morphing means changing the structure or changing the, based on the condition to take a different form, right? So you see here, it says the condition of occurring in several different forms, right? શુદ્ધ ગુજરાતીમાં બહુરૂપિયો એક કરતા વધારે રૂપ ધારણ કરી શકે એવું, right? In other words, ability to take more than one form depending on the situation. I'm giving you very simple example. Polymorphism. You have seen the chameleon, Kachendo, Gujarati. What it does, when it is in a green grass, it will change the color to green, and when he is in a dry grass, which is almost brown or golden brown color, it will change the skin color to golden brown. So it is having ability to change the skin color based on the condition, right? Similar way, when we are talking about polymorphism in programming means there will be certain programming construct which will take the form as per the condition available. So we call it as a polymorphism, right? So polymorphism means a variable of a superclass that can refer to a subclass object, right? Polymorphism means a variable of a superclass that can refer to a subclass object. Fine. So in inheritance, when superclass and subclass relationship is there, subclass will have some certain additional feature, right? So we call it as a special feature, and that's why subclass is a specialization of its superclass. Subclass is a specialization of its superclass because it has something extra, something special than the parent class, right? So every instance, that is every object of a subclass, is also an instance of its superclass. It's also an instance of its superclass. Why? Because you see, you are a child and you have a parent. All the properties of parent belongs to child. All the property of parents belong to child, right? Along with that, if you are earning, you will have your own property. So something which is by your own is special. That's your specialization. Fine. So whatever is with your parents, that is in general available for all the child. Available for all the child. But if child is earning the property by his or her own, we call it as a specialization. Similar thing happens to the construct, that is data member and method of superclass. Superclass is generalization, so all the child class will acquire those property, but child class will have certain properties, that is certain variable and method which is specifically to that subclass only, right? So that's why we call it as a specialization. Now the situation is, we say that every instance, that is every object of child class, is also the instance of parent class, right? Because we can have all those property to be acquired or to be accessible by the subclass object. But reverse is not true. Reverse is not true. Why is it so? Why is it so? Because you see here, if I have class A and class B, right? I have D1 and D1, D2 here in class A. And suppose in class B, I have variable D3. I'm saying instance of parent class, that is B, is instance of superclass also. So B can access D1 and D2. B can access D1 and D2. The object or instance of class B can access the data filled from the superclass, right? It can access it, right? But reverse is not true. Reverse is not true. If I am creating the instance of parent class, if I am, just a second, my system is hanging. If I am having object or instance of a parent class, I cannot do this. Why? Because D3 is belonging to child class. Right? But we can do this, B dot D1, because D1 and D2, because D1 and D2 are belonging to parent class. Fine. So this is correct, but this will give you error. This is not possible. D3, which is property of child class, is not accessible by the parent class. This will give you an error. So it's not possible. Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Right? Any doubt, any questions up till now? Right? I'm saying that if you're trying to access the property of child class using parent class object, then it will give you error. Whereas all the instance of child class is also the instance of superclass, so we can use it, right? Right? So an object of subclass can be used wherever its a superclass object is used. We can do this, right? Wherever we want to access the methods of the superclass, we can use the child class object. So this is commonly known as polymorphism. This is known as polymorphism. Fine? Fine? Is it clear what is polymorphism? Right now, you see here D1 and D2 are the object of class A, that is parent class, but we are using the child class object to access it. So we call it as a polymorphism. Clear? Clear? Everybody? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Okay, so today we'll keep up to this. If we recall what we discussed today, we learn what is polymorphism. We learn what is super keyword and its uses. We said it is used to call constructor, instance method, and data variable of parent class using the child class inside the child class. We learn about what is method overriding, and we learn the difference between method overriding and method overloading. Yes or no? So this was today's learning outcome. If you have question in any of these methods, you can ask the query. We are concluding the session by saying that we learn super keyword and its uses, method overriding, difference between method overriding and method overloading, and polymorphism. Done? Fine. So that's it for today from my end.